Hello, listeners, and welcome to the Geeks by Gaslight Podcast, the show you need to listen to for your monthly insight into the many wide world of geek culture. I am your host, Carroll, and we got a good one for you, folks. First up, he's the former host of GBG. Please welcome your good old pal, Ronny Diaz.
Hey guys, today marks 1 year of me being at least 2% less of me.
You can explain what that means in a bit. Also, you know him, you love him. He's the man, Mr. Scott Heemstra.
That's me.
Wahoo, it's a me, Scotty-O.
Oh yeah.
So tell us about this percentage loss or gain, Ronny.
Okay, no, it's loss. It is a loss of me. So, basically, last year, I had gallstones. And today marked the day that they officially tried to kill me. One of them got stuck in my bile duct, and for 4 days, because I didn't know I had gallstones at the time, I was in pain, and the only things I remember during that time is that I would frequently get into the shower because it made me feel better. I had like water on and everything, so I'm not just like sitting in a fucking empty shower. And that my PS4 kept looping Scott the Woz videos because it did that weird PS4 thing where if you watch enough YouTube, it will just start looping videos. So it would be me sleeping, attempting to drink things, taking a shower, throwing the fuck up, going back to sleep, waking up Scott the Woz, and then continue.
I just imagine you have this weird like PTSD like Vietnam flashback. So you just like cuddled up crying in the shower, and then like Scott the Woz is hovering over you.
Actually, okay, it's the reverse. Scott the Woz is a comforting presence for me.
He was embraced in his loving arms.
Yeah, I was like, every time I watch Scott the Woz, I'm instantly like, calm down. I'm like, okay, I'm fine. Scott's here. Scott the fucking
gonna be okay.
Yes, so long as Scott the Woz is present.
Me.
Yes, not you, Scott the Not Woz.
Scott the Not Woz.
Not the Woz. Not the Woz. That's your new name, not the Woz.
I'm not the Woz.
Not the Woz. Yeah. No, it like I guess my brain taught me. All right, I see Scott the Woz. That means that A, I am alive, and B, I can still be living.
Shout out to Scott the Woz, I guess.
Shout out to Scott the Woz. You fucking kept me company during 4 days of agonizing pain.
What a hero. Okay, let's get started by talking about some of the trailers. This has been a fucking stupid busy month for trailers because it's like right around the point that like it's like far enough away from like the blockbuster like Hollywood season that this is like it's like far enough away that this is like the time that they will drop the trailers for all of their shit. So we're not going to be able to talk about everything that came out, but we are going to talk about 3 major trailers. First off, let's talk about the new trailer for the 25th James Bond film entitled No Time to Die, I believe, which is a very, very James Bond name.
Yeah.
For a movie, No Time to Die. But guys, what did you think of the No Time to Die trailer?
This seems like a very interesting take on James Bond. It's not a series that I'm really super familiar with, but if there's one thing I know about James Bond, is that he's always this sort of like smooth, suave, like calm guy. And in this trailer, from what I'm seeing, he's very not like that. Because
yeah, well, this is Daniel Craig Bond, he's more ape than man. I'll say that. This motherfucker is like in like the first movie, I think it was Casino Royale. There's the bit where he's getting interrogated, and he just like he just like gets the shit kicked out of him. He drowns people in sinks. He gets whipped. He like there's like this rope whip, and he gets hit in the balls with it. He's just got this. This is like a really different Bond that they've been doing for the past series, and this is the. It's gotta be.
This is Skyfall Bond, right?
This is Skyfall Bond. Skyfall was the third in the series. The first one was Casino Royale, then Quantum of. Okay, so basically, there's been a trend with these last 5 Bond movies, all of Daniel Craig's, because half of them are really good, and the other 2 aren't not.
Ooh.
And it's like rotates because first Casino Royale was great. Casino Royale kicks ass. Watch Casino Royale. And then Quantum of Solace happened, which I actually haven't seen. But I heard it was real bad. Partially because they were making the movie in the middle of the writer's strike. And so basically, like, Daniel Craig and like a few other people were like having to write the movie. Daniel Craig, who's not a writer, were having to write the movie as they were shooting it because
Really?
yeah, because like they didn't have writers because the writers were all on strike.
That sounds kind of awesome.
Yeah, I assure you, it's not.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not. It seems like something that could have been awesome.
Yeah,
if they, yeah.
No, I've heard pretty much all negative things about Quantum of Solace. And then Skyfall happened, which is badass and awesome.
That's the only one I've seen.
That's
the good
Skyfall.
That's the one with Adele as singing the theme.
Yeah.
That's the best one. I don't know. Casino Royale might be better. But then fucking Spectre, which I saw. Spectre was weird because it was trying to bring Bond back to his roots, but it like didn't work. Because the whole thing were like, okay, everything in Bond's life has been like manipulated and like orchestrated. Every like bad thing that's ever happened to him, like all the villains from the previous movies, have all been under control of like Blofeld, who's like the most iconic James Bond villain. He's like the guy with like the scar over his eye petting the white cat, you know? He's like the most iconic Bond villain. And so they're like, okay, we got Christoph Waltz, badass, great actor, to be the new Blofeld. And the movie was just weird. It was like doing a bunch of like the sort of more like campy gadget stuff that Bond's more generally known for, but it just didn't really fit the pace of the former movies. And they did this weird subplot where spoilers for Spectre, I guess, where Blofeld was actually James Bond's like brother, and he hated Bond and ruined his life over the course of all these movies because his dad didn't love him as much as he loved James Bond.
The classic daddy never loved me.
It was real stupid and bad. And you actually see a bit of Blofeld in the trailer.
For the new one?
Yeah, in the new trailer. So they didn't kill him off at the end. But so at the end of this movie, at the end of Spectre, James Bond retired. He's I'm done with this life. I just want to be with the woman.
Clearly not, though.
Yeah. Apparently that relationship didn't go well. Because he's like real pissed at her in the trailer for this one. When they're just, speeding away from some ne'er-do-wells. I think that the trailer looks good. Lashana Lynch is playing James, the person who took over the 007 role after Bond retired. So she's the new 007. Not like everyone freaked out with her when she got cast because they're like, oh, it's a female James Bond. We're finally getting. It's not. Daniel Craig is still James Bond. At the end of the last movie, he just retired, and this is a different person who took the number 007 after he retired. So it's not a female James Bond. It's someone else that just has his old number, who is part of the 00 program.
My question is, will she survive the movie then if he's going to get his fucking number back?
Well, this is actually the last one.
It is?
This is the last one of the current Bond because this is the last one on Daniel Craig's contract, and he is very, very adamant about not doing any more of these. During the press tour for Spectre, he opened his big fat stupid mouth and said that if he would this is when he still had one more movie on his contract. He said that he would rather split his wrists with broken glass than do another James Bond.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, he's kind of, Daniel Craig's kind of like that. Weird guy. But overall, I think it's an exciting trailer. Rami Malek is the villain. Obviously, super good actor.
Yeah.
Won the Oscar
That was
for
one of
best
the things
actor
that
this
interested
year.
me.
Yeah, got big on Mr. Robot, all sorts of things. But what did you guys think
Bohemian
about this?
Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, the only one I've seen is Skyfall, and I saw it. I haven't seen it since I saw it in theaters, which was like a while ago.
That was like 2020.
But yeah, the trailer was cool. It was interesting. I liked it, and yeah, Rami Malek was like one of the things I noted. I was like, oh, cool. I know that guy. He's cool. Not much more than that. I might have more to contribute to the topic of Daniel Craig, but that's for a little later.
Oh no. Yeah. So I don't know. I like Bond. Generally. This was definitely a more grizzled and down to earth Bond. And so this is the big send off. They're bringing it home for this series. So I'm interested to see where it goes next. But that is not the only trailer we're talking about. There's 2 more to go. One big trailer that happened was sort of been a bit controversial on the internet. I've sort of stayed away from the discourse from it. I actually just saw it. And that's the trailer for
Me as well.
Disney's Mulan. The live action version. Now obviously these live action Disney movies are very controversial whenever they come out. There can be, sometimes hit and miss. People seem to have very high expectations, I should say, when it comes to Disney bringing their sort of iconic animated films into live action with a bunch of big effects. Obviously, there was the the fan response to that first Aladdin trailer that we covered, that had Mr. Fortnite Bus himself, Will Smith, delivering some fantastic
God,
lines.
is that really what he is, Mr. Fortnite Bus?
Yeah, he is. He
Like,
was
I guess, like,
Well, he said if he could put 2 things in rewind, they would be Fortnite
yeah,
and Brownlee. And then
yeah,
and then he saw Fortnite Bus and he's like, "That's hot, bro. That's so hot."
yeah. The only thing I that was when he said Fortnite, and he said it kind of funny, and I think just the sound of Will Smith saying Fortnite, and also saying, "Yeah, it's rewind time."
Yeah. Oh, that's hot. That's hot. No, but anyway, onto the actual Mulan trailer. I actually liked the trailer. I think I might be alone in that, but Ronnie, what did you think?
Okay, so I have a very interesting history with Mulan. It's my mom's favorite movie, and it's a movie that I grew up with a lot as a child. And I'll say this.
Me too.
It's definitely not the Disney Mulan. It's very clearly not the Disney Mulan, and that's not really what I have a problem with. I think what I have a problem with is that it's like being advertised that it's a live action version of the Disney Mulan. Which, there's nothing wrong with it being different. It's just that, like, I know for a fact when this comes out, my mom is going to want to see this movie. She loves Mulan. They're probably going to take my nephew to go see Mulan with this. And I just don't want her to be disappointed, man.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely not going to be the same film. And I'm going to put aside any and all shit with the actors going on with that shit. I don't know if you know, a lot of these actors are very anti-Hong Kong protesters, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to do a movie set in China, it's sort of unavoidable.
Yeah, it's the unfortunate thing. These people are rich. These people are, well, Chinese. That you kind of have to kiss the government's ass.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's really no way to do a movie like this without that. And so I think,
I mean, you could get Asian American actors, but then that's like a whole nother thing
I mean, China has its own mass market like sort of pseudo Hollywood scene, kind of like India does.
Yeah, they have a lot of influence.
They have great blockbuster filmmaking. So and it's a huge market, so it makes a lot of sense to cast actors that portion of the world will recognize to play this part in a big Western produced movie set in ancient China.
Yeah.
So that part doesn't really like bother me, because obviously those actors couldn't be in giant blockbuster movies in China without having to kiss ass to the government a little bit, even though that's, as morally as sort of morally dubious as you might find that. I don't see it as being I don't see it as being, as long as you are aware of it, then it doesn't really bother me all that much.
Yeah, I can't say 100% what these guys' stances are, like
Mhm.
what they actually feel.
Mhm.
But what's been said has been said, and it's just a fucking big thing. Whether or not they're kissing ass, right? It's like I'm putting that aside. Like whatever anyone thinks about what they're saying right now, let's just side it, because this is gonna be a movie that people are gonna see expecting normal Mulan, like what we know as the standard Disney musical Mulan, and we know the list of changes. There's no Mushu, there's nothing like that. So it very much looks like they're going for a more realistic Mulan, but they're still advertising. It's like, hey, we're Disney. We made the original Mulan, right? It's not what they should be going for, because it's not the original Mulan. It's very obviously vastly different. They've got a new character. There's a scene involving a battle between Mulan and some other character where they have a discussion about like her like disguise, and that wasn't in the Disney animated version, stuff like that. So it's just like I
They
maybe
dropped
give it.
one real good nod when
We're gonna make a man out of you.
yeah, we're gonna make men out of all of you. Where I was like,
Pretty good.
you gotta do the song, come on.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's like the one thing I really know about Mulan, and that's just catchy.
Good movie, watch it. It's good.
It's
I
very
think-
good.
Actually, like Make a Man Out of You is like the most famous song, but then there's that other one.
I
which
really
is,
like A Girl Worth Fighting For.
Yeah, the one where she's like looking in the water.
Yeah. Or no, that one is When Will My Reflection Show.
Yeah, it's one of those two that's also a banger.
Yeah, all of the songs in this movie are a banger.
Yeah,
They're
interesting.
in
No
Mulan, yeah.
no Eddie Murphy dragon.
No Eddie Murphy Dragon. I think, again, for what they're going for, yeah, would be funny, but I think putting in like a CG dragon that's like voiced by Eddie Murphy, because I think Eddie Murphy would come back for that role.
He would, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, I think,
And if you don't get Eddie Murphy, fucking just get Kevin Hart. He's basically the same thing.
I'd rather go maybe Chris Rock.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
He's a little closer. He's a little closer in like tone.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Chris Rock CGI dragon in the middle, because like Kevin Hart can he can play the type,
Yeah.
I
mean, like,
I don't really see Chris Rock fitting into this giant Chinese epic. How although it would be hilarious.
I mean, no. All you do, right? All you do is like let's take an image of Mulan, like just the cast, right?
Yeah.
Not in this movie, just like the animated version, right? And then you just you take Mushu, right? You edit him out and you insert the zebra from Madagascar.
Yeah. No. Shit.
It's just like the scene, the famous
Jimmy
scene.
Wong's in this movie?
He is?
Yeah.
Wait, the fucking internet guy.
Yeah, the fucking
Freddie Wong's
Wong's brother. Freddie Wong's
brother, yeah.
little brother, yeah. He's in he's in fucking
Wait.
Mulan.
The YouTube CGI guy?
Yeah.
Freddie Wong's YouTube CGI guy's brother, yeah.
Who's like all in his shit.
Yeah.
Donnie Yen's in this, Jet Li's in this. Okay, this cast actually kind of rules.
Yeah, I mean, I think from what I just without removed from like any particular like context or like biases, the trailer looks like cool. I think. I don't know if it'll be good or not. I don't know. It's Mulan.
It,
Next.
I think
I
it,
will, okay. Hopefully, okay. My one hope is that we get a Ming Na Wen cameo. Because I love her and she's great. And she played Mulan. She was the voice actress for Mulan in the original series, and she's like kind of like hardwired into the Disney family at this point. She's got a bunch of gigs for them. She's on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the longest time. And she's also got a part on The Mandalorian now. So I hope it'd be cool to get a cameo from her.
wasn't that a thing? Wasn't that a thing about the original Mulan that I saw some people saying? Not like the original Mulan, but like with people comparing this to the original Mulan. It's like they got the actress for Mulan, but they didn't like. They could have gotten the actress who voice acted Mulan. It's
Well,
like
she's like, okay, I don't know, because she's like 50 now. She's like 50 plus now.
oh yeah.
So if you're gonna do a live action Mulan, it makes more sense to cast someone younger.
It makes sense actually.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe the sorry, I was just gonna like finish my point from earlier. It's just like I think this maybe this like this movie looks like it can be good on its own. It will not be a good Mulan live action because, as I said, it's just vastly different. I think maybe this could have like used a subtitle or something just to like further differentiate it. But it's
the movie should stand. I think the movie should stand on its own merits. And it should live or die by what it's trying to be and not be held up to the standard of what it's loosely adapting. Because
Mulan is a very like there's not much to it.
I have a soft spot for these historical epics that aren't set in like America or Europe. I'm gonna be honest. Like we've had a few of them, like in like Chinese ones. Like, do you remember the Great Wall?
Yeah.
The one where the Great Wall of the one where like, okay, it was the one with like the Great Wall of China. Was built to keep these like monsters out, and Matt Damon was there being like, guys, China's awesome.
Wasn't that the one with the bad CG?
It kind of looked bad. Everyone thought it was like racist that they were like, okay, we got the movie set in ancient China. We still have Matt Damon as the lead. But like that was the thing, is that like a lot of Chinese cinema, they want to get their shit popular here as well, because like a lot of Chinese cinema doesn't really do super well over here. In the States. So they were like, oh, let's get a Western star. So if everyone's like, oh shit, Matt Damon's in this, it'll be cool. But then no, everyone just thought it was racist. So that is unfortunate. And I didn't even hear very many good things about that. But let's move on from Mulan onto a much more exciting trailer for me. Holy shit. I've been waiting for this trailer to drop forever. And it finally did. This is the trailer we've all been waiting for. Black Widow has finally arrived with its first debut trailer. And I have a lot to say on it because it's really, really exciting. I've been pretty hyped for this movie. Because just to clear up any confusion before we get into it, because obviously spoiler alert for Endgame, you saw it.
Yeah.
Black Widow was killed in space in another time. So there might be some confusion as to what she's doing here, and that is because this is a pseudo prequel. It's not going all the way back to tell her origin story like a lot of us initially thought. It's actually what it actually is. It's set right after Civil War, but before
I didn't know
Infinity War. Yeah, it's set after Civil War, before Infinity War. So what this kind of is it's like it's taking like because at the end of Civil War, obviously Black Widow, Falcon, all of them, they were and like Ant-Man, they were all sort of like fugitives for a bit. Where they like, remember they had that kind of like secret Avengers type deal going on.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that. And we'll probably be talking a bit more of that later.
Yeah, and so that's when this takes place. That's where it fits into the grand MCU timeline. And so it's sort of about after the Avengers, because like keep in mind at this point the Avengers had just like fully broken up after Civil War. And so she apparently is going to reconnect with some of her roots in her home country. So she goes and she meets a character called Yelena, who's played by Florence Pugh, who, by the way, is having a fucking amazing year. Like, she's been in so much shit lately. If you're a fan of pro wrestling, she played Paige in the Paige biopic Fighting with My Family. And she's been in a bunch of other stuff this year. She's crushing it. And she's sort of playing this she's like a great young actress, and so she's playing this sort of younger character who's like also came up in the Black Widow program. So they're kind of like pseudo sisters almost. Not by blood, but by sort of how they came up. And so
like a blood brother.
Kind of. But yeah, basically. But they're it could be hinting that because she's obviously much younger than Scarlett Johansson, that she could be prepped to take on the role of Black Widow after going forward in the MCU, because Natasha's obviously gone. And there's just so much I want to talk about, but before I do that, I want to ask you guys what you thought about the Black Widow trailer.
I thought it looks cool. It looks like different than your average Marvel movie. It's gonna have it's still gonna. They're doing that thing, that Marvel thing ever since Guardians of the Galaxy, where they're still like trying to make it a little fun, but they're not at least as egregious about it as usual.
They did that. They made fun movies before Guardians of the Galaxy.
I mean, yeah, but we're like, you know what? I'm saying it wrong. This movie feels more in line than pre-Guardians of the Galaxy.
So you're saying it feels kind of like Phase 1-ish?
Yes, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I actually quite find that refreshing, because I have been getting a little tired of the we're gonna just try and make this as Guardians of the Galaxy-ish as possible.
No, I mean, I really like Guardians, but my two favorite Marvel movies are Captain America 2 and Black Panther. And both of those sort of have a more grounded sense to them, and they explore a lot of issues of geopolitics. And so hopefully setting a movie in Russia now sort of inches in that direction. I think there's a whole lot to like with this trailer. Scott, what did you think?
I like David Harbour.
Yes. David Harbour looks so good.
Oh right, there's the fucking U.S. agent.
No, he's not U.S. agent. He's a guy called the Red Guardian. He's basically in this movie he looks like communist bro Captain America.
Yeah.
So he's just like this sort of like pudgy but still somehow Marvel jacked superhero guy who just has like all the Captain America powers, but is just sort of like he looks like he's gonna be the fun character that we all want to see again, But obviously, a big thing, they haven't shown much of this in the trailers, but the big villain is an iconic Marvel bad guy, Taskmaster. Taskmaster is coming.
Holy shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah, you see a bit of him in the trailer, or him or her, because we don't know who's playing it. We don't know who's playing Taskmaster. Some of us speculated it's one of the actresses in the film. But so this cool thing about Taskmaster, if you're not familiar, is that Taskmaster has the ability of sort of like photographic memory recall, if he sees if he sees something performed like an action, like a specific punch or a style of martial arts, if he sees someone fight, he can perform that exact fighting style and maneuver to a T, just by seeing it once. So he can, if he watches, if he watches a master martial artist fight, he is then a master martial artist in all of the ways that he perceived. It's a really cool power. That can be a bit broken. But when utilized well, which it looks like this is, and there might be like sort of an ongoing mystery about as to who it is. I think it's really cool, and I'm excited to see what they do with Taskmaster. Is there anything else you guys think about the Black Widow trailer?
Sorry, I had to deal with something for a second, so I kind of had to slip out. But I was gonna talk about Taskmaster actually. I don't super dig his design in this movie.
I think it's cool.
Not his design, their design.
Skull face, weird hood guy.
I know.
They hint at it.
Yeah, because it has like the mask. The mask has like a skull design on it, like a faint skull design on it. I'm like excited to see it because fucking Taskmaster is really cool, and if you don't know who Taskmaster is, he can just fucking. He has what is it?
I already said that.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, sorry, I had to deal with the thing. I apologize. It's just maybe look. I think I'd forgive it if he gets the fucking white cloak.
The thing, because the top candidate, because we don't, as I said, we don't know who's playing Taskmaster, is that it's going to be he might not be a he. The big idea is that it's going to be Rachel Weisz's character. So that's exciting. I just think that it's it's another Marvel movie. And it's I'm
wondering what fucking big plot point it's going to bring in.
Yeah. There's a lot to because this is a character that everyone really, really, really wanted to see a movie out of. Because for everyone, years it was like, okay, this is cool. Doctor Strange is cool. Where's the Black Widow movie, guys? Come on. And they're finally getting around to it, and I'm excited. Scott, any other takes?
I'm interested. I'm interested to see. It's very different, just like conceptually from like I don't think they've done anything like this before, with it being like a set just kind of like in the middle there.
Yeah, in like the middle of their timeline.
Yeah, aside, they did Captain Marvel, but that was before like almost everything.
Yeah, they had Captain Marvel set in the 90s or was it 80s or 90s? It was the 90s. Yeah, they had Captain Marvel 90s. Set in the 90s, and they had and they had obviously the first Captain America, which was set in the 40s.
Yeah, but this one is specifically also about a character that is already dead. So
there's something big.
Yeah, I'm interested. There's something just kind of the idea of like we're suddenly making a Black Widow movie. I'm interested to see like what they got planned.
Yeah,
because it'd be weird to just kind of like play it straight. I think.
Yeah.
At this point,
and just looking at David Harbour's character, I can tell that they're up to something fun. That guy looks like he's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I love David Harbour.
Yeah, David Harbour's awesome in things that he's in. I like David Harbour too. All right. Do we want to move on to some more unfortunate Marvel news?
I feel like Black Widow was kind of fortunate Marvel news.
I think it's more unfortunate, as in unfortunate by comparison.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so unfortunately, we have some rough news for fans of Marvel television. And that is, and for, people with jobs there.
Yeah, them too. But no, just the people who watch them.
Yeah.
They're the ones.
Honestly, it is more them than us. Oh God. So Marvel Television, who's been responsible for a bunch of shows over the years, like Agents of Shield, all of the Netflix Marvel shows, Agent Carter, fucking Cloak and Dagger, Defenders, a bunch of fan favorites. Even some of the Fox Marvel shows like Legacy, and that other one that they did that didn't really go anywhere. Um, is now officially, sadly, closing the doors and being put into Marvel Studios proper, who's obviously um uh the the studio that has produced the Marvel Cinematic Universe films that this has been spun off from. Um, a bunch of so a bunch of people who are going are there's people are going to be crossing over who worked in that division are gonna keep their jobs at least for now, as they move over. The head of Marvel TV, Jeff Loeb, is not one of those people. Um, he's done. He's gonna be to go work on the next to go on the next one. So yeah, it's a bit bittersweet for me because I feel like this could be a blessing in disguise. Because obviously, I'm a big fan of Agents of Shield, and I watch every MCU show that they've produced. The only thing I haven't seen is the most recent season of Runaways. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm gonna get on that real soon. And so this is my one big fear is that they're gonna do a Disney Star Wars thing where they wipe it all from canon, because I feel like that'd be a real shame. To build up all this investment over since because the first Marvel television show that they did was like Iron Man. It was like right after Iron Man 3. So we've been doing this for a while now. And there's a lot of extra lore and canon that ties directly into the movies. That it'd be a shame to lose all of that. But this isn't the end of Marvel making television projects, because obviously all the Disney Plus streaming shows are coming, and we've talked about that a few times on this show. So what do you guys think about Marvel television closing?
I think, and I don't want to sound like an asshole, it was kind of coming. Like the writing, the writing was kind of on the wall after Luke Cage season 2 canceled, even though that was a hit. I think Punisher got canceled.
Every Marvel show, not current. Every Marvel show. I think the last remaining Marvel show that's not canceled. Okay, there's two. The third season of Runaways just released, so that's probably done, I'd imagine. And they still have one final season of Agents of Shield that they're going to put out next year. So once those two are done, and this season and the last season of Agents of Shield, or like the last season that we did and the one that's coming up they're both going to be half the length of the last few seasons. And I was a fan. I liked the last episode, or the last season of Agents of Shield. But it did really fuck up the canon of Marvel. Just
that
completely.
Messy, huh?
It was rough. I'll say that it was rough. So that being said, there's just a lot still to, how do I put this? I think the blessing in this is that Marvel TV, because if you've watched the Marvel shows and the Marvel movies, there's always been a bit of a disconnect. It's clear that most of them are set in the same universe.
But it doesn't feel like it.
Luke Cage, Daredevil references the Avengers. Luke Cage references Daredevil. Cloak and Dagger references Luke Cage. Everything sort of feels connected. And I believe there's a crossover episode in the latest season of Runaways with Cloak and Dagger, I might be mistaken on that. But that's really exciting because Cloak and Dagger, I think I've said it before. I would mean to bring that show to the podcast forever. Cloak and Dagger rules. It's 2 seasons. Watch it.
Hey, save it for later so that it can be added to the
Yeah.
GBG list.
Yeah. So, man, there's a lot to unpack with this. Obviously, let's thoughts go out and hopes to the people who lost their jobs in this merger, that in hopes that everyone who's leaving there lands on their feet. Because it sucks when anything closes down, and people have to find a new job. But I think that the blessing here is that the TV side and the movie side are gonna feel more intertwined. A benefit, like possibly a not so good side of that, is that if a lot of people don't end up watching the Marvel shows, because not as many people are gonna watch the Marvel shows as they watch the Marvel movies, obviously, because not everyone, because people love streaming shows on Netflix and stuff, but that's not the same type of people who necessarily will go out and see the movie, that see the, or go and see the shows. That's those are different audiences. So I mean, obviously there's going to be a lot of, hopefully the shows will be quality enough that they'll bring in those people, but I just hope it's not you won't understand what's happening in Doctor Strange 2 if you didn't see Hawkeye, if you didn't watch if you didn't watch like an 8-hour show. But that's just sort of worst case scenario. I don't think they're going to do that. No, there's a lot of positives and negatives to this.
Yeah, there's a lot to hope for these series, because I know I didn't watch them because the mainly 2 things. I didn't watch these shows because I didn't really dig their vibe, and that's more of a personal thing. But B, there's just so many of them. There's so many goddamn shows that a lot of them are inconsequential to the main story, but things like fucking, why am I blanking on the name now?
What is it?
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't know how I was blanking on that fucking name. You literally just said it.
Yep.
But stuff like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't feel the necessary, it never felt necessary to ever watch it for any of the Marvel movies, and that's
it was supplementary.
Yeah,
it was the biggest tie-ins that they had were to they had one brief thing with Thor: The Dark World, but the definitely the biggest tie-ins that they ever did were for the Winter Soldier, which quite literally exploded the premise of the show in the middle of its first season. And also they had a really cool tie-in, and that helped flesh out the lead into Age of Ultron more. So it's sort of, you can understand more about Age of Ultron if you were of like what led to all of that if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But yeah, it was always supplementary, and it was cool because you kind of it's not just something that if you think if you definitely don't need to watch it, but if you watch it and like it, and you also watch the movies, you're going to be rewarded, and that was sort of the cool thing.
Yeah, I just felt for me, I feel like there needs to just be a little bit more of cohesion, and maybe Disney Plus will help fix that, because now they're kind of keeping it a bit closer to home, it seems.
Yeah,
and
none of the other shows were produced by Kevin Feige, and now all of the shows going forward will be produced by Kevin Feige.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be better cohesion, and I don't like Disney as a corporation. They're very big, they're very powerful, but I really can't fucking deny that they produce results.
Mickey Chungus, big Mickey Chungus.
Big fucking fat Mickey Chungus. He'll fucking walk into your house, eat all your goddamn cheese, and then buy your house.
By cheese, you mean all of your intellectual property.
All of your intellectual properties, and then when you tell him to stop, that's when he hands you the money, and then you're just like, well, fuck. I guess I'm a fucking sellout now.
Yep. And speaking of Disney, if you ever want to buy Geeks by Gaslight, we're very open to that suggestion. Put us on Disney Plus. We'll be shills. I don't care.
I mean, that's like me, Dre, and Jack's decision, but yes, we are. At least. I am very open to this, please. I need that.
Open to what?
Open to being bought out by Disney.
Selling our souls to the Disney overlords for money.
I have
producing Geeks by Gaslight for Disney Plus. Let's do it.
We all have like loans to pay off. Yes, please. Literally, if we'll probably
yeah, sure, why not?
It will probably take the money if it's just enough to pay off all of our loans collectively.
Oh,
fuck.
God.
In fact, if Disney wanted to be evil, they could just like put all the money in a pile and be like, "All right, you have to kill each other now." That's how the Geeks by Gaslight. That's how the Geeks by Gaslight Battle Royale
is the winner.
That's how the Geeks by Gaslight Battle Royale starts.
God,
it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Yeah. Anything more you guys want to say about Marvel TV?
It's sad to see it go. It was a very popular thing. It was something people really liked. I'm sad that Luke Cage got canceled because that was one of the ones that was doing real good.
R.I.P. Luke Cage.
Yeah.
God, that show rules. Okay, all good. Moving on to okay. So I should preface this. The Game Awards happened last week?
No, dude, it was well, yeah, I guess last week. It was the 14th. Exactly, I think 7 days.
Oh shit. Yeah. So but when we're recording this, it was a week ago.
I think wait, was it the 14th or the No. It was the
matter.
day. It was the day of my final. It was the 12th. So like 9 days.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter. So basically, so I blocked my whole day around watching the Game Awards, because I wanted to talk about it on the show. Until about 30 minutes before it started, where I decided to lay down and slept through the whole thing.
You really didn't miss much.
Yeah, so I only bore witness to the gloriousness that was the last 5 minutes of the Game Awards.
Yes, you mean the no Smash reveal.
Yeah, whatever. The not Smash, and I saw that there's a Fast and Furious game. That's hype. But
Reggie was there.
Reggie, Ninja, Akumi Nakamura, fucking Ninja's mom as well.
What?
Yeah, Ninja's mom was there.
I didn't catch that. What?
Yeah, Ninja's mom was there.
Yeah,
Ninja's mom
don't
was
you know
sitting
Reggie Fils-Aimé, Vin Diesel,
Diesel,
Ninja's mom, all titans of the video game industry.
Ninja's mom, no, dude, Ninja's mom, Suda, Hideo Kojima, Norman Reedus, they were all within like 15 feet of each other.
My God.
It was a very powerful day.
Hey, does Hideo Kojima know he's sitting next to that guy from The Walking Dead? Dude, did anybody tell Norman Reedus he's sitting next to the Metal Gear Solid guy?
I don't know what that is. But yeah, so I didn't watch the Game Awards. I was sound asleep.
I saw part of it.
Okay, so Scott, why don't you kick us off and talk about what you thought about the Game Awards?
I don't know. It was like cool. I only caught like maybe half of it. Maybe like the second half of it.
Am I the only one that sat all the way through the?
Oh no!
Don't worry. I don't remember everything, but I can definitely remember a lot. Okay,
the thing with the Game Awards, it really is like 30% awards.
Yeah.
And the other 70% is like just goes to fucking announcing shit. Ugh, I hate the game.
That's like the shit I'm more interested in, though.
Yeah.
That is the
That's
shit.
like why I watch it.
But also, like, there's no, like, fanfare. There was very little fanfare this year. They really, like, here's how they announced the Game Awards, right? Take motherfucking Game Awards guy, right? He's just standing on
Jeff
this, like...
Keighley?
Jeff Keighley. Yeah, that guy.
It's the you don't pronounce the G.
Yeah, I'm doing it anyway. Jeff Kegels. Jeff Kegels. You take him, right? And you put him in front of like this sort of just like platform that is not like anywhere near the main stage even. It's just like raised above, and they're filming him, and it's like he brings some people up, talks to them, and then just minor interviews, stuff like that. And then he just like, all right, guys, so we're about to cut to commercials. But before that, right now, we're going to announce these are the nominees for this. And then he just kind of like lists them and then reads them out after he opens the envelope. And there's not like fanfare for them. And albeit as the awards go on, like some of the bigger ones obviously do get like people up on the main stage. But even then, there's not that much fanfare for that. They just kind of like go up, they accept their award. Sometimes there's like a couple speeches, but there was like nothing memorable. There was not like how do I put it? Last year for the Game Awards, at the very least, there was a whole Celeste speech that happened. I at least like remember that existed and being a thing.
What are you talking about, dude? Nothing important happened. Fortnite now has like a TIE fighter as a glider now. That's the greatest thing anyone could have ever asked for.
You're not wrong. This is more than what humanity deserves.
Everything is creatively bankrupt.
Yeah, honestly, like, I think really the best parts... No, there is one memorable moment from this Game Award, and that was Reggie Fils-Aimé actually dropping some words about why indie games are important and really fucking cool.
Good for you, Reggie.
Yeah, no, Reggie Fils-Aimé was the best part of the Game Awards because he really was like, he got it. He was like the fucking spirit that the Game Awards was missing, and I really, really wish that Reggie kind of like hosted the Game Awards.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
He's like a man that gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's pretty like universally adored.
Yeah.
Like everybody loves Reggie.
Except by like Earthbound fans.
He fucking... I'm pretty sure he was apparently like wearing a pin that resembled Mother, like a Mother sprite.
Just rubbing salt.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Awesome.
Oh, actually, fun fact. There was a clip of Reggie who's doing like a college lecture, right? And someone asked him about Mother 3. And someone was like, you see, I no longer work at Nintendo, and that is no longer my problem. He wasn't like being mean about it. He was just like very much like having fun with it. He's like, look,
yeah.
I feared the day this question would come, and my response is, I no longer work at Nintendo. It is no longer my problem.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, the guy who asked like was being like playful about it too. Who's like, yeah, I'm sorry to ask this because I know it appears in your nightmares.
Yeah.
And then went on with the question.
It was so good.
The 3 when. Oh god. Also, I guess we're forgetting that Bravely Default 2 is happening, so I guess Bravely Second just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bravely Second just doesn't exist. Yes.
Yeah. Apparently that game wasn't good anyway. So
I don't know. I liked the first one. I never got very far in it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I heard people. I've heard good things about Bravely Default. I've heard people didn't like Bravely Second though.
Yeah, that's more what I was referring to.
Dude,
which I would imagine would be why they decided to make Bravely Default 2 instead of like Bravely Third or something.
Yeah, but honestly, Bravely Default 2 really is just like, you know, the gif of the guy who announced Peggle 2 just like jumping and throwing. It's just that. It's like, all right, guys, what have we got for you? Here in the Game Awards world premiere, Bravely Default 2. You fucking throw your fist.
Woo. Okay, but we gotta about to talk about the big, large, penis-shaped elephant in the room.
No More Heroes 3?
No, the new Xbox.
Oh, no, dude, that's the fridge-shaped elephant in the room.
Dude, the Xbox sex?
The sex box!
The sex box!
Because it's Series X, right?
No,
Okay.
it's not. No,
It's
actually it's just the Xbox.
It is just the Xbox.
Right. But people are still gonna, if there's nothing else to differentiate it
I'm really gonna
from the
call
others,
it the sex
people
box.
are gonna say Series X or some derivative of that.
It's really
And I
weird.
would not put it past people to call it the Xbox Sex or the Sex Box. People,
I'm calling
we
it-
already been saying Xbone.
Yeah.
Xbone. So I mean,
I really found someone who was still saying Xbone like not long ago, and it's so depressing.
It's like that's actually just the shortened fucking name.
Just no, stop.
it's
Xbox One. It's
awesome.
literally one less syllable. You're just trying to be epic and failing.
Hey, that one syllable could be used to shill people on something that matters.
I don't know, but I'm calling it the sex box because it's
Well, sex box is like not less syllables.
it is less syllable than Xbox Series X.
Yeah, no, sorry, it is less syllables. It is very much a lot less syllables.
Okay, so we should preface this that the base starting model is called the Series X, but this model of Xbox is just called the Xbox.
Yeah, it's not like
It sucks.
yeah, fucking tragedy.
Okay, so the first one was just called the Xbox, and then
Yep.
but then the Xbox One was a prequel, and the Xbox 360
a prequel.
Yeah,
A
it's a prequel,
prequel.
because there was one. It's the first one.
It was.
And then they came out with the Xbox. Then there's the Xbox 360 was the sequel.
No, you mean the
This is
Xbox original
This is
is.
Xbox the pre-sequel. This is the remake. This is the anime.
This is where
This is like the fucking Cartoon Network Ben 10 reboot of Xboxes.
I was thinking about how epic it would be if they just went ahead and called the next Xbox the Xbox 720.
Okay.
They were never going to do that, but I really want.
They weren't, but people expected them to do.
How
it.
awesome
And it's
would it
better than like every other name they've come up with since the
Come on.
360.
Oh,
So
wait, okay, wait.
Xbox, what if they called it the fucking Xbox Zero and they just started going down?
Oh
Xbox
my
-1.
God. I could see them doing Xbox. though. I wouldn't put it past them.
All right.
Lord.
I'm gonna be real for a sec. I'm gonna be real. Go be real.
Go be real, dude. Be real.
I'm gonna be real.
Be real.
This shit is really just a PC.
It looks like one.
It really is
Why is it-
shaped. It's
Why is it
shaped like
that?
yeah.
That's not gonna
It's a
fit
box.
anyone's
It
fucking-
is.
it's not
You
gonna
don't
fit.
understand. It's the Xbox. It is.
Did you see the
box.
guy who did like an edit of the like PlayStation logo on the fridge on like a fridge? And was like, like jokingly, like, it looks like PS5 is going in the same direction, and some website, some journalist thought it was legit because I guess this was because I think this guy was like a guy who had like notably like leaked like actual stuff
You mean to tell me
before.
this motherfucker put a PlayStation logo on a fridge?
Yes.
People bought
Yes. Yes.
There was an article of that. I was like according to this guy who has like given like credible like leaks before, apparently.
That's like how whenever Vergabend farts, the entire Smash community just listens with bated breath. Oh God.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Man. Oh. So okay. So those are like those are the biggest announcements, right?
No More Heroes 3 got an interesting trailer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it got he faked this out. It was
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah,
I love
it
the way they
was-
did that.
I love Suda51. I am a fucking Suda51 slut. If Suda51 came to my house and said, I will give you No More Heroes 4, but you have to like cut off your own fingers, I'd probably do it.
Have you
Only
played
problem-
the Silver Case?
I've not played
That's
the
the
Silver
only
Case.
suited game
Will you
I've
cut out
played.
your
I need to
fingers?
finish
Yeah,
it.
sure, I'll do it.
I'm like
Now
almost done
has
with it.
no fingers to play. No more heroes.
Don't worry, I don't need fingers.
No more
to play-
fingers.
I don't
No
need
more
fingers.
No
I don't
more
need fingers to play No More Heroes. All I need is just some duct tape and a thumb.
Work the tongue, Ronny. Work the tongue.
Nah, I have not played the Silver Case, but I do know that is one of his early works. It was
Yeah.
very awesome. But getting on to the trailer. The trailer itself
Silver
was...
Case is very interesting.
I have heard. So the trailer itself, it was a fake out. It was a fake out trailer that didn't really have that much going for it. It was just like, all right, it looked like a fucking Ni no Kuni game is what it looked like. It was about like a boy and his alien, sending that alien off into a different planet, the alien returning and saying the world loves superheroes, so he's going to become one, right? And Travis does not show up until the very end after a fake out title screen that said goddamn hero. And when Travis showed up, everyone was like, Suda, you magnificent bastard. It's exactly what I said, and the actual fucking Twitter account for Grasshopper Manufacturer actually liked the tweet. It was very nice. There wasn't much actually revealed about the game itself. It seemed more like it was a premise trailer. Like, it was very much shown that there was an alien invasion going on in the initial reveal trailer. So they're like sticking to that, and all of the designs look pretty cool, pretty wacky. We all know who the secretary is if you pay attention to her voice. I'm not going to spoil it, though, in case somehow you don't figure it out. That was a very fun one. I'm trying to think of any other reveals that happened during the Game Awards that were like super big.
Well, we can talk about the actual awards themselves. Actually, play Sekiro.
I have not played Sekiro.
I have not.
It is a game that I would like to play because it looks very fast and cool. Like, I'm not a Dark Souls guy, and I know Sekiro isn't like Dark Souls, but it's at least esque. It's one of the games that's closer to it. And like Bloodborne, it's one of those games that's a lot faster.
Right.
And my issue with the general Dark Souls playstyle is that it's very slow and repetitive. That's why I like Bloodborne a little more. Yeah, but Sekiro looks like it's that, but a bit more up my alley.
Cool.
So it's definitely a game that I want to play. Let's see. Control won a lot of awards at the Game Awards.
Did it?
Yes, it was nominated for a lot. I think actually Death Stranding was the sweeper.
Yeah. Best game direction. Mads Mikkelsen won best performance because that's a thing now.
That kind of sucked. I kind of have some thoughts on that.
Yeah. Control won best art direction.
Yeah. That I don't know that much about Control.
Yeah, me either. Best music and score, Death Stranding. Smash won best fighting game. That's cool. I laughed when I saw Jump Force was. I
don't know how Jump Force made it on there.
I remember when that happened. Because people were joking. Which people were joking about.
Jump Force on best fighting game.
Because it was man.
I remember there was a lot of people were upset that Fortnite won the best I think ongoing game over Final Fantasy 14, which a lot of people wanted to win.
Honestly, that one feels very close. Like, that feels like it could have gone.
All you need to do is just default dance on those people because they didn't get Victory Royale.
You know, all I know is that now Final Fantasy 14 is going to add a Battle Royale mode somehow.
My God. Don't tempt me to talk about Fallout 76 again, Ronny.
Look, we talked about this because, a little bit back behind the scenes. We're thinking about
Yeah, we're thinking of doing Fallout 7 as a weekly segment or a monthly segment. Fallout 76 dumpster fire update.
And to be honest, I'm down. This shit does not stop.
Okay, but we're not gonna talk about that now.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to say about the Game Awards?
Let's see. Reggie was cool, obviously. I already mentioned all the power that was in that fucking room.
Yeah.
I
think we're good.
Look, we say we're good, but I know there's gonna be like something that someone's like, why didn't the fuck you didn't talk about this? So I'm really thinking. And I really can't think of like anything. You know what? This is probably my brain lying to myself, saying that there's something big that happened at the Game Awards. Because if I'm gonna be honest, I really felt fucking disappointed by that. It was like 3 hours of like disappointment. It was the fucking Dragon Ball.
No Smash. Everyone thought that there was going to be a Smash announcement.
Everyone thought there was going to be. Yeah.
So I guess we'll talk about that when it happens.
Yeah.
When that happens, if I had to equate this fucking Game Awards to anything, I think I'd equate it to that time that we waited in line at Dragon Ball for the Dragon Ball World Record.
We just got left out right in front.
Yeah, it really was that. It really was that.
Yeah. That was in our Comic-Con vlog on the channel if you want to check that out to see how we got blue balled by Sean Schemmel.
We really
I remember before the Game Awards started, there was like Jeff Keighley did a little like video on his phone and where he just talked about like, yeah, we're like setting up, just a warning. Some of the things the internet thinks are gonna be here are not gonna be here.
Oh no.
And
damage control.
I mean, I think I don't blame people for expecting Smash. I think it made sense to expect it. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame people for being like disappointed. It's not like it's the Game Awards fault or Nintendo's fault. I saw someone saying like, "Oh, Nintendo should have like announced that it wasn't going to be there," and it's like, why? I don't know. I don't really think that was like they didn't announce it, say it was going to be there. I mean, I don't blame people for expecting it, but there also like was not a specific reason.
They'll get around to it when they get around. Those characters usually take a while to get ready to show. Because remember when they first unveiled Terry, he didn't have any gameplay.
Yeah,
and I think they might want to avoid that.
The trailer they did for Terry was really cool, though.
Well, they had an awesome like cinematic trailer for Terry.
Yeah,
they didn't show any gameplay.
I wouldn't mind another thing like that. I think a lot of people, at least right now, just really want to know who it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. Yeah, the Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and the internet's as well as going to be mad about something. Okay, I think that's it for the Game Awards.
Okay, so moving on to our to a very interesting segment. Back from the jaws of death, Ronny's Rambles is coming at you right now.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Ronny's Rambles, which are the things. And this week, 2020 has come in and 2019 has ended, so I decided to bring to you something that I got big into in 2019, and that is Kamen Rider. More specifically, I'm bringing in the music of Kamen Rider because I listened to that a lot, and it ended up being my number one listen to thing on Spotify last year. This will be Heisei and Reiwa, and not Showa because I haven't touched Showa yet, so here we go. Number 10, Round Zero Blade Brave, Kamen Rider Blade. Good song, it doesn't get me as amped as the others on this list, so it's number 10. Number 9, Revolution, Kamen Rider Ryuki. It is great theme for Kamen Rider Ryuki, but it also doesn't get me as amped as the others on this list. Also, I've listened to it so much that it kind of just died for me. Number 8, Rando Escalation. Great character song for the main characters of Kamen Rider Gaim. Doesn't also get me as amped as the others on this list. However, I really do like it, and it lost its charm for me because I listened to it a bit much. Number 7, Combo Change Medley of Kamen Rider O's. So this is a medley of themes from Kamen Rider O's for all of its forms. They're all great individually. Mixed together, they're fucking phenomenal. Please. It's a really good theme, but still not as good as the others on this list. Number 6, Reverse Rebirth. Great character theme for Kamen Rider Birth. Both characters who play Kamen Rider Birth. It's good. It's nice. I like the tune. Again, not as good as the others. Number 5, Perfect Triumph. Great song for Cosme and Kamen Rider Build. Perfect New World. It's great. Love it. A little bit too anime. Solid number 5 though. Number 4, Extreme Dream. Great character theme for Shotaro and Philip from Kamen Rider Double. Great final form theme. Love it. It talks about how they balance each other out. Great. Number 3, Kamen Rider Kuga. Great, powerful theme for the first Kamen Rider theme of the 2000s from when it came back. Great. No fear, no pain. Kamen Rider Kuga. Alright, number 2, Kamen Rider Decade Henshin theme. Such a good theme. It kicks ass. I love the trumpets. I love the Spanish guitar. Great. When you hear Tsukasa say, Tori Suriguru Kamen Rider da, and then the song kicks in, you know shit is about to go down, and it is fan-fucking-tastic. And number 1, Find a New Life from Kamen Rider 01. God damn, I've listened to that song every day now since I've heard it. It's so fucking good. I love it. It's just got a great message behind it. It's so... The tune is phenomenal. I fucking love it. Can't really say much more in the time I've got. Anyway, that has been my top 10 themes of 2019 from Kamen Rider. Not of 2019, but that I listened to in 2019. Anyway, point is, subscribe to the Geeks by Gaslight. Tell me your list. Next time I'm probably going to list the top 10 anime themes of 2019. See ya!
And we're back. Thanks, Ronny. I think.
And we're back. Thank you for that riveting report. Okay. So, moving on to our favorite segment, recommendations. Let's, you know what? Let's have Ronny kick us off. What did you bring this month to recommendations?
Alright. So, as of late, I have found myself becoming a fucking casual gamer because I have been too busy engulfed in the gacha life, and it sucks.
Join us, brethren, in the casual life.
I'm
us all.
I've really become a casual. I really have no excuse, nothing. I have not played any I don't think I've beaten a game this year, which sucks.
Rip.
Well, that's changed though, because recently on PS4, Capcom was having a fucking killer sale because of the aforementioned Game Awards. And, well, DMC5 happened to be $20.
Ooh.
Yes. And that was a game I was very excited for because that came out this year, actually. So it's very weird to see a game that came out current year be discounted that heavily. And I didn't even
won a big award, so they probably put it on discount because the interest was renewed.
Yeah. So I bought it. It was $23 because I got the deluxe edition, which gave me all the extra arms, which are frankly kind of useless. Actually thinking about it, I thought they would be a bit more useful. I think the only one that's good is the Sweet Surrenderer, and that's because it heals you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I decided to play it because I had played DMC4 and I really enjoyed it. And when I saw DMC5 trailer last year at, was it E3? I think it was E3. Or how long ago was it? Anyway, I saw the trailer. I was very hyped. I was like, holy shit. Bang, bang, bang. Pull my fucking devil trigger. Do it. And I finally got to play it. And holy shit, that was a wild ride. And I actually... I'm not sure if there's going to be a DMC6. Not because it's definitive end, but because it's such a not definitive end. That's making me because it has been what? Almost a decade between DMC4 and DMC5.
You're forgetting something.
No, I'm not. I'm not forgetting a damn thing. No.
I think there was another game that came
out. Fine, I'll fucking acknowledge the not white-haired fucking skinny white boy in the room, all right? DMC Devil May Cry came out. I don't know if that is a good or bad game gameplay-wise, because I never played it. All I know is that that's really not Dante, because that shit... look, literally, Ninja Theory was working on the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did...
Allegedly.
They had a panel at Geeks. Allegedly. They had a panel at the Game Developers Conference, which is just as it sounds, but it's one of the biggest fucking conferences for all of game developing, about what their process going through it. And they had one on DMC Devil May Cry Dante, where it's like, Dante is not this, Dante is this. And really, they put Dante is not a gay cowboy on the Dante is not list. So Dante, they put like fucking Brokeback Mountain on there. And I'm like, no, Dante can be very Brokeback Mountain if he wanted to be. Dante really did like get a weapon and recite a whole poem about having sex and how great his dick is. In DMC4.
It's not very Brokeback Mountain.
That's not very Brokeback Mountain.
It's kind of sad.
Brokeback Mountain, well, yeah. But all I'm saying is Dante could be a gay cowboy if he wanted to.
What a hero.
Yeah, no, Dante, like, they had a whole list of things that Dante isn't, and fucking a lot of the things that were on the things that Dante isn't list were kind of the things Dante are.
Anyway, back on track to DMC5.
Yeah, so coming off the mess of that is DMC Devil May Cry, what the fuck? This was the game. This was the game everyone fucking wanted, because it was really a celebration of Devil May Cry 5, or not Devil May Cry. Not Devil May Cry 5. Devil May Cry in general. Holy shit! So you start off playing Nero, just like in Devil May Cry 4, and his arm's gone. He's got a new arm, fucking robot arm, and it makes his gameplay so much more interesting. Because in Devil May Cry 4, he really is just slash sword, grab thing with arm, and kill. Now that he's like, arm can do different things, and it can break, which is a very big thing for his different like abilities that he can now use, because he can have more than one arm at a time. Just makes him so much more interesting, because you're like, all right, I'm going to have this arm equipped, right? Then you can break it mid-combo to extend your combo, and now continue your combo with an entirely different arm.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So it's kind of like if you time it right, you can just like swap weapons in the middle of a combo to like, extend it.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that whenever the fuck you want, which is really cool. Yeah. And they don't even like get rid of his ability, his like original arm's ability entirely, because there's an arm you can buy that mimics that ability. Huh. And I'm good. Can I get into some spoilers if you guys can?
How long's the game been out for?
The game, well, it's been out since like January.
Oh,
it's like
fuck
the thing.
Then yeah.
Yeah. So, by the end of the game, Nero gets his original arm back, which makes the arm that I just mentioned that mimics his arm completely useless. Right. But it makes his gameplay so much fucking cooler, because now it's mapped to a different button than his robot arm. So you can use his robot arm's ability, and while you're using it, if you press his demon arm button, it will punch the opponent as well. Then you can fucking use his demon arm to grab onto an enemy and like also hold onto it, and when you release, unleash his fucking Buster Arm move. It lets you do so much fucking more, because now you have more shit to play with. You have more combo potential. I really have some gameplay where I'm like, all right, going in, slashing, robot arm, grab the opponent, buster them, dodge out of the way, grab the opponent again, buster them, robot arm, punch. And then you follow that up with a taunt and you feel awesome.
That sounds sick, dude.
It's really fucking cool feeling to get a triple S in Devil May Cry 5. And that's only like Nero's gameplay. Then you have V's gameplay, who like on paper sounds less interesting because you're not doing the fighting yourself. You have like minions.
Mm-hmm.
You're essentially like a D&D druid.
Right.
Where you're sending your like minions in to do the fighting for you. And here's the thing. V can do shit separately from his opponents. The only thing that he actually has to do is, or differently from his fucking minions, the only thing he actually has to do is he has to deal the finishing blow, which isn't too bad because your minions are capable, and if you're far away, V just kind of warps to them. It's really cool to fucking do if you're just like remotely doing it. But what's great is that V fucking can. First off, he doesn't have a double trigger. He just goes into a super mode. He summons a giant Colossus guy, and you can ride on him if you buy the skill. Not only that, but his taunts are really fun to do because V is mostly stationary. So when you get to higher ranks, his taunts just fucking like go. Normally a taunt in DMC is like, well, it's a taunt. It's very quick. His can like go on. If you get, I believe, double S and you taunt, he'll start fucking actually doing an orchestra. He'll be like a conductor in an orchestra, and it will play classical music as you're fighting. Not only that,
that's ball.
It's awesome, dude. Also, like you can do air combos, but when you're jumping with V and you like, there's a very special taunt that you can do. I think it's like A or S rank taunt that if you jump and then you taunt midair, which also midair taunting is awesome. If you taunt midair, he'll do like a ballerina twirl and land on like his knees with like jazz hands. It's very fun.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I'm very interested in Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Have you played any of them, Scott?
I have not. But I would like to.
I wouldn't start with 5.
I wasn't really planning on it. I was thinking I would just do it the old-fashioned way and play them in order.
Yeah, that's like the best way to play it. Because it really
see the first game to start with is DMC Devil May Cry, and then the next game that you play is none of them because that's the only Devil May Cry experience you need.
Mm-hmm.
Right, guys?
Yeah. Right. All right.
No, I'll only play Devil May Cry 2 because it's GOAT.
Yeah, I've been going on a bit, so I'm gonna try and get through it because I don't want to stick to just Dante and everything, and also we need to move on to different bits. So so V is just fun. He's a cool remote like play character. His taunts are great. Also, he has a button specifically. If you hold it, you will gain the devil trigger meter, and also he'll read William Blake poems, and that's very fun to do. And then Dante is just he's still Dante. He's got all of his styles and everything, but all of the weapons that he gets are really cool, and
so he is playable.
He is playable. Yeah, you do play as Dante in Devil May Cry. It's basically like latter half of the game he comes back. Because
did you play as him in 4?
Yes, you can play as him in 4. It's kind of the same deal with 4. Once you get like halfway through the game, they're like, "Hey, here's Dante."
That's cool.
This is better than in 4 though, because in 4 you just kind of ran through Nero stages and as Dante. In 5, he actually gets like his own stages and boss fight, and there's actually more meaning to like what he does. And Dante is revamped, so they're not revamped, but he's got all of his skills and everything, all of his styles that he already has. He does not have the Dark Slayer style where he has the Yamato, unfortunately, but it's fine because more spoilers. He gets a new Devil Trigger form called Sin Devil Trigger. Which he also gets a new sword called the Demon Sword, Devil Sword Dante, named after him. that allows him to use summon swords as just a part of his Swordmaster kit, which is really fucking awesome. And that also applies to his Devil Trigger. So playing as Dante is like, all right, fucking, we're going to add summon swords to combos. Also, you can just fucking like go nuts, because fucking playing as Dante is complex. And if you can play Dante well, I applaud you, because you have to switch between his fucking styles to actually get really good at it. And if you really want to like flex your big dick, you play Royal Guard. And you don't just play like shit Royal Guard. You play the Royal Guard that counters on like hit. That fucking parries. Because that's when you're like, okay, I know this game and I've made it my bitch. If you really want
interesting.
Royal Guard is very fun, because if you it's hard to master and even learn, but if you parry on hit, you get a big piece of a Royal Guard gauge, and that gauge fills up. And when you parry, there's a move where if you parry perfectly, and you press the attack button, or if you press the circle button and forward as you parry, you unleash all of that stored energy and just fucking destroy your opponent. If you like it's complicated for me to explain. There's videos out there. Fucking, if you really want a fun video to just like look at it, there's someone did the final boss, no damage, triple S rank, flexed, just fucking high skill ceiling. The story is pretty much not existent. It's like that in all Devil May Cry games, apparently. It like exists, but it's just not. It's obvious if you play the games who the final boss is going to be, stuff like that. Story beats. Yeah, it's very fun. I think you're generally going to be playing it for the gameplay. Story's not bad. Dante is back, and that's kind of what the game feels like. The game feels just like, all right, this motherfucker's back, especially since it starts off with Dante being defeated, and that's not something that's ever happened in this series. Like, he's utterly defeated. Not even just like he lost a duel. Dante was thought to be dead. It's a very nice representation of the series. If people thought it was gone, and now it's fucking back. So go play that game. I'm sorry that I went on a bit long.
No, it's all right.
It's so good. It's very fun. Please play Devil May Cry 5.
Okay. So Scott, what do you
Yes. I saw currently in theaters. I saw the movie Knives Out. I'm gonna try to avoid being too spoilery since it's like still in theaters and also like a murder mystery. But it shouldn't be too much of a problem since I think I have enough to talk about. Because it's really interesting.
The trailers look awesome.
Yeah, it's by Rian Johnson, who is sort of relevant for other reasons, just by association with Star Wars
He
now.
did Star Wars. He did Looper, if I remember right.
He was what?
He did Looper. Remember that movie?
Yeah, I actually didn't know that until like today. But that's cool because I remember seeing that in theaters, and I also liked that.
So tell us about Knives Out.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Because it's so you've got. I've always sort of been of the opinion that the whole like detective like novel story concept, like when I saw I think it was last year, I want to say there was a film adaptation released of Agatha Christie's Murder of the Orient Express.
I also saw that, yes.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that movie.
Yeah, I read the book and I saw the movie since I happened to like read the book a little like for the first time like not long before the movie came out. And I was kind of mixed on the movie.
I didn't really like it all that much.
I'm not even, well, I'll also say that I'm not even the biggest fan of the book. even though it is one of the more highly acclaimed Christie books. But I also had issues with like how the movie did it. But a general takeaway from that is just that I think that whole sort of type of like very like detail oriented like detective story that's very much like designed often so that like for like readers to be able to like sort of follow along and try and even solve it themselves, stuff like that. But like where it's almost like a puzzle. Generally works better, with books because you've got all the text there to like look through. It just feels like there's more of it's like all kind of laid out. But I think what's interesting about Knives Out is it feels like it takes that like exact like formula of the like Agatha Christie novel and does it in movie format actually very well. It's interesting. There's little parts where there's like little like scenes that they'll like go back to or go back and forth. I don't know how to fully explain it, but it just told in a way that feels like it takes some of the ideas of that and does it well. It's very quickly paced. I think I was like extremely engaged with it. It's like one of the most engaged movie experiences I've had watching a movie, I think, in a while. Just because like from the first scene I was like into it and I was like enjoying, and from there I was like hooked like all the way to the end. One thing about it that felt very Agatha Christie to me, and this connects to earlier talking about James Bond, because Daniel Craig is in the movie. He plays arguably the main character, depending on how you look at it, because this is something that's sort of very Christie, and I think also just in general that sort of era of like detective novels is that there would usually be like authors like Christie has like a handful of like different characters she will like work with. Like there's Hercule Poirot, who's like I think the most iconic and famous one. And a lot of like like he's the detective in Orient Express. He's the detective in a lot of her other books. And a lot of the times, even though he's like the lead detective, he's often not like the main focus of the story. He's just kind of there to fill the narrative role of the detective. And that's the impression I got from Daniel Craig's character in the movie. He's like plays this guy. He's got like a southern accent. And I found it very enjoyable. But he's just kind of just kind of following everything. He has like no like personal like direct involvement or attachment to what's going on, other than that he got like an anonymous letter telling him to go there, and then he's like there, and it also reminded me of like Umineko, which I talked about on a previous episode, just because it was like this like a rich family, and there was the death of like the head, so there was some like inheritance disputes going on, and there was a little bit of politics in the movie, but mostly I think it worked to like bolster some of the like atmosphere and the character, because it felt like a family Thanksgiving dinner. That's like it's awkward because politics comes up. There was like a scene where there was like a discussion of that, and it was very like topical. I think they didn't directly name drop it, but it was pretty obvious. They talked about Trump stuff. But it was amusing to me, mostly because it just felt like effective at giving me like a basic idea. It's the sort of thing where I think one of the ways to use like tropes and archetypes really effectively for like characters is just to make it easy to like have you understand like what kind of person someone is when they're introduced. Like a character is introduced, and just from like sort of the way they act, I could sort of tell like, oh, okay, this is that kind of person. What? Yeah, and it's not even just like this kind of character, but it's like I there's people like this in real life that I've encountered, or whatever. So it does that. So like not a lot of the characters are super duper fleshed out, but just kind of that is like enough. I think regarding the politics, the one part that felt sort of weird to me was there's like an exchange where like just like there's these two like I think they're cousins. This girl just says to her cousin, he like says some like dumb shit, and she's like alt-right troll, and then he says
That's
liberal snowflake,
hard.
and I was like, okay, whatever. It was just kind of felt a little silly, but otherwise, I mean, it wasn't really.
Wait,
it
was it
was
Chris Evans that
sort
said
of
that?
relevant to like the major stuff in the movie.
Oh.
It wasn't. But it was a different character. But he was, I think, is also his character is also like, of that way. The character that said that is this like kid who like definitely goes on 4chan. Definitely, is an incel. Definitely, definitely reads Stone Toss
Ryan
comics.
Johnson wrote him to people who didn't like The Last Jedi.
There's even like a part of the mystery where he like happens to like overhear like a significant like detail of like an argument in another room because he's in the bathroom jacking off.
What a hero.
That's like
What
a
a
detail.
hero.
And he doesn't even really have much of like a role in the story other than that. But he just exists there as like that person and like as that member of the family, and that's like fine. I don't think I was like dying for more screen time for him. I think he's brothers with Chris Evans' character. Because I think it's like their dad is the Trump supporter. And it gets awkward because the like head of the family, who I forgot to mention, is like a mystery writer. So that's sort of, he's like kind of eccentric in that way. There's all kinds of little details, like his like eldest son. He's like, he has him run their like publishing company, and he keeps pestering him to like sign like movie deals with like Netflix and stuff, because that's like where the real money is. But he's like, no. And then there's some like drama where he sort of like fires him, because he's kind of like, I think maybe it was like a mistake to like put you in charge of this. I should have let you like sort of find your own sort of like path, or like create something of your own rather than like managing my stuff or whatever. And it like upsets him. One of the other like I think his like daughter-in-law, whose husband is like dead, but she's still like around. And she's like always like posting on Instagram and stuff. And her like daughter is like in college, and she gets like her daughter's tuition paid for by the like head of the family. But he finds out she's sort of like embezzling in a way, where she like it was like being paid directly to the school and also to her, like managed on like different regards or something. So she was getting the money in addition to the money going to her school. And so he finds out and he like cuts her off. And it just kind of established like multiple people have like clear like not like possible motives. Just because this all happened like a party like the night before. Is like he fires his like eldest son, he cuts off his daughter-in-law. Chris Evans' character gets like disinherited because he's just like a total asshole.
Everyone in the room to eat shit, and I thought that was funny.
Oh, was that in the trailer?
That was in the trailer. Eat shit. You eat shit. You eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's he. Yeah. I think that's like when the concept of him getting disinherited comes up, because it's like he doesn't show up at the funeral, but he shows up at like the like will reading. Even though he like knew he was disinherited, and he just tells them all to eat shit or whatever, and then leaves. And that's like what he does.
Eat shit and die.
Yeah, it just is obviously very like complicated family, who obviously has very awkward Thanksgivers, etc. One of the main, I would say arguably the real main character of the movie is this like Hispanic girl who is named Marta, who is like the caretaker for the head of the family, because he's an old man. She like takes care of him, and he like dotes on her a bit. And this is part of where, because she's like a major character, some of the politics is like involved, where the like Trump supporter is like talking about like a whatever blah blah blah. I think people should just come in like legally. Like Marta, hey Marta, come over here. I bet she'll agree with me or whatever. And he doesn't know that she actually is an illegal immigrant. Or at least her family was. I think.
So she was like a dreamer.
So yeah, something like that. But that sort of comes to play in some real interesting ways that I can't really go into without spoiling it. But that's okay. But she is important, and she sort of like tags along with Daniel Craig's character on the investigation. And it just kind of, I don't know, it's fun. It's funny, and it's also like a pretty well done mystery. There were a few things that made me like chuckle a bit, because it was just like, all right, I'll just one. There's a character named Hugh, but they don't call him Hugh. Mm-hmm. And there's a line where someone goes, "You did this," but she's actually saying, "Hugh did this."
Oh shit!
And I was like, it wasn't like insignificant enough that it didn't really like get in the way of like the mystery being like coherent, but it was just really
Just a tiny little bra moment,
because it's a very like thing to like do in like a mystery like that. But yeah, I mean, it does that whole sort of formula well in a movie form. Mm-hmm. It's good, and I would love to see more movies from like Rian Johnson, just with that detective in that sort of Christie style, where like some other thing happens and he like shows up or something. I don't know. I'd be very interested, because I like this and I would like to see more. And he was kind of funny in the movie, because there's like what movie's called Knives Out. I know this is like the only reason. It's like the one line that references that title when they're like talking about like they're arguing about like the will or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do a southern accent," but he's like, "Oh, you're all like vultures, knives out and beaks bloodied," or whatever, and he like tells them all off. And yeah, I don't know, cool movie. I enjoyed it. I would recommend. That's it. I kind of just talked about a bunch of different stuff there.
That was cool.
It's got me interested.
I want to see it. I'll probably go see Star Wars first because I kind of have to.
That's fair.
See,
I'll be honest. I think I would rather see Cats than Star Wars.
I opt out.
I don't know that that's gonna happen. Because I think I'm going to see Star Wars with family, and Cats isn't in a movie I would see in theaters with my family.
Is Cuck still in theaters? Because I think I'd rather watch it.
It was never in theaters.
Was it not?
It was never.
No, it was straight to fucking video or whatever. You can watch it on YouTube right now.
That's disappointing. I was really excited when it came out the same week as Joker.
But I don't want to watch it in theaters. Look, but I don't, to the audience, I do not actually want to watch Cuck like unironically.
Don't believe him. He was telling us all about how Cuck's his favorite of all time right before the podcast started.
I literally have not seen the movie.
He's seen it 5 times.
That's not what you said before the podcast.
That's not what you said, bro. That's not what you said, bro. Forever.
In any case,
okay, what are your favorite films of the decades? All five of Ronny's entries were Cuck.
I remember someone.
I don't think I've actually seen any movie that was like I was gonna mention this while talking about Scott's Knives Out recommendation, I actually really want to broaden my horizon. Like seriously, I want to broaden my horizon outside of just like superhero movies because that's all I watch with like yearly.
Yeah, should get on that. It's good.
There was a right, but just before we move on, there was a really good tweet I saw that was like ranking like difficulty levels for being a movie theater employee, and it started with like the month of like January or whatever month is like that like has like a slow month for movies. It went up to like Avengers level threat, and then the highest was Cuck and Joker come out the same
Wait.
week.
Right, I never got.
That's new game plus. That's new game.
I never got to mention why Cuck. Well, it's only because I share the same name with the main character, and I think
Cuck's name is Ronny. It's Ronny.
If I'm going to watch
so epic.
if I'm gonna watch a movie that like I hate and I know I'm gonna hate, I think I might as well go with the one that has my name in it.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt because my dad took me to go see Ford versus Ferrari, which was like I didn't love it all that much, but it was pretty good for what it was. I enjoyed it decent enough, but the main character Matt Damon's plays, his name's Carroll Shelby, and it's actually spelled like my name, and you know that doesn't happen very.
That's cool.
That's very rare.
It is rare, but you know, based on a real person. So
yeah, I think I first saw Scott Pilgrim for like the same reason as well.
Yeah. Okay, but now it's my turn to talk about something.
Yeah, your turn.
I was really excited to have Scott on this episode. Because I didn't have him on.
Yeah.
I did not have him on when we talked about when I brought Zero Escape to the podcast. But man, this is just a piece of like Scott media that I've been wanting because last time we were here, I recommended Jump Force on the podcast.
You did?
I did. Yes, I did. Jury is out if that was a good idea. Because look, for all of the game's many flaws, I had fun with it, and that was the point.
That's fair.
Hey, it was nominated for best fighting game.
It was a best fight. Yeah, sorry, best fighting game of 2019 nominated video game. Jump Force.
I won't lie. I would be willing to like play it like once given the opportunity out of curiosity. I just don't feel like purchasing
Dude,
it.
Just come over. We can play Jump Force 1v1 me, bro.
Why not? I'd be down.
Yeah, dude. You
let's
should,
go.
You guys should come over. It'll be fun. But
Is that an actual invitation?
yeah, sure. Why not?
Why not?
All right, sure. Why not?
Break, dude.
Yeah. So, so what's happening? Is that after I'm not done playing it. Basically, what happened with my sort of update on my Jump Force experience is that because I got Xbox Live Gold was on sale for $1 and I have it. So basically, I'm using this time right now to spend as much time playing Dragon Ball FighterZ as I can because I never get to play that game anymore because I don't have it online. But after sort of playing a lot of Jump Force, I was like, there's so much shit on there that
this is better than Fighters.
It's not better than Fighters. It's so much worse. But it basically there's all this shit that I'm not familiar with in that game because it's like like Naruto, Dragon Ball, and like a few other stuff. There's like a whole bunch of other like these other franchises that I haven't done. And the one that drew me the most because it's one I've been excited about watching for a while was Yu Yu Hakusho, also known in some places as Ghost Files. I was really excited to do this because it was like a thing that, you know, Scott was obviously a huge fan of. For the longest time, main character Yusuke was his profile picture.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like now to the point that whenever I see Yusuke, I associate, oh, that's Scott.
I'm very okay with that.
Dude, I see that same Yusuke image you used on Twitter, and I'm really like, oh wait, Scott responded to this when it's something Scott would not respond.
It is. That's how it is. I see Yusuke, I instantly think, oh, that's Scott. It's awesome.
He is my like favorite shonen protagonist, so I'm totally cool with that.
I fucking understand why, because Yusuke is cool as fuck.
Dude, he's such a good character.
He is a great character. That's one of the things. That's like one of the things that I would praise this as being one of the best executed shonen that you'll ever watch. Because it sort of does the Dragon Ball Z thing, where because we in the West we didn't get Dragon Ball until after Z. We started with Z, so like right in the first few episodes, Goku was dead. So the main character dead in the first few episodes is like really impactful. Let me just say, Yu Yu Hakusho beat Goku's respawn time. The death and respawn time, because the first scene is main character dead. Which is like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, I forgot that's one of my favorite like first episodes too.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. I think it made me emotional like the first time I saw it.
Wait, doesn't he die by getting hit by a truck?
Well,
gets hit by a car.
Yeah. So there's this kid. There's this kid who because Yusuke's kind of like this delinquent sort of punk kid who's his dad ran out on him. His mom's an alcoholic. He gets into fights all the time. But he's like cuts class all the time, and he's not well. No one really likes him except for this girl Keiko who he was like childhood friends with. And so, but he's like he is a good person, just kind of underneath all that rough exterior. He really cares about people.
Yeah, he's just kind of like depressed and misunderstood.
Yeah. And so there's like this kid who is like playing with a ball in the street, and he's like, he like takes him to the side and is like, okay, you don't do that, kid, because you'll get in trouble and you'll get hit. But the kid doesn't listen to him, and the ball goes into the street. He's about to get hit by a car. Yusuke runs, pushes him out of the way, gets hit by the car, and gets killed. Funny. One of the things that made me laugh about this was that you find out later when the Grim Reaper, who I'll get to, she's awesome, is explaining what happened to him. She's like, yeah, actually, you got hit by if you hadn't jumped in the way and pushed him out, the car would have swerved. You died for no reason.
Yeah, the kid actually got like a bit more injured even than he like would have been.
Yeah.
Because
you pushed the kid over with, it like scraped his. He would have been fine. Which is just so fucking funny. And especially because the way it's lit. Because one of my favorite characters in this is she plays the role of the Grim Reaper. Her name's Botan.
Yeah.
She's lovely. She's witty. She's smart. I love her. But I will say, most of the reason that I love her is because she's voiced by Cynthia Kranz.
Oh yeah.
Who is who, if you're not familiar with with Dragon Ball, is Chi-Chi.
I forgot about that because she sounds very different as Botan.
Well, she's just like, I heard it right away. It's just posh. It's just like a little posh Chi-Chi, and it's like I love her voice. I needed that until I heard it, and then it's like all I could think about, and it's adorable. I will say, probably one of the biggest parts of me enjoying the show so much as I did is because I was on the English dub. As controversial as this stance is, somehow I generally prefer dubs. Like I'll watch subs if people say that the dub is horrible. I'm not above it, but generally, I think it's normal to like to consume media in the language that I speak. I don't think that that's a particularly unreasonable thought process. But Yu
Yu Hakusho's dub is really good too.
It's so good.
It's like one of my favorites. Yeah.
It's incredible. I loved it. And part of it is because it was done by.
It makes me so happy.
And it made me super nostalgic because it was done, but in Funimation around the same time that Dragon Ball Z was being made, and so it has a lot of the same voice talent. Like I even heard Schemmel in a few episodes, and I popped.
Yeah, I think it hits a nice little sweet spot between it was like after so they had enough experience that it was like a bit more of like they knew what they were doing, I think, than the original dub of Z.
Mm.
But also it wasn't they were not like super duper professional where they were like willing to like experiment with a lot of like the dialogue and stuff.
Yeah, and that hit the sweet spot of nostalgia for me, man. And obviously, Justin Cook, who played,
And I love all the like dub like openings and endings that they like never do anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God, the theme song to Yu Yu Hakusho is such a fucking bop. Oh, I love Smile Bomb.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think a lot of my attachment to Yu Yu Hakusho is also because of the dub. Like I think it's like still a good series in general, but I think I wouldn't love it nearly as much as I do if I hadn't watched it dubbed.
Mhm. Yeah,
I think the dub adds just a lot of charm.
oh, it does. It's so good. I was like, cause when Yusuke's main mentor is introduced, Genkai. It took me like 2 episodes of racking my brain to try and figure out who it was. I'm like, holy shit, that's Linda Young. That's old Frieza. Because like Linda Young was so miscast as Frieza. I'm sorry. But she was so good for this role. It's like, because I always have relatively negative connotations to that voice. I'm so glad I heard her in a role that it was like fitting and was good.
Yeah, I've only ever heard Chris Ayers as Frieza. But I'm definitely a big fan of Linda Young as Genkai.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. I guess side note: if you haven't watched original dub Z, it's long and some parts of it make no sense. Like they pronounce Kaioken Kaioken. It's weird.
Really?
It's like, yeah, for like most of the show, they call it Kaioken. You know, King K, the move you learned from King K. No, it's just there's a lot of weirdness to it, but I'm super nostalgic for it because it was the first dub of Z that I watched.
That's fair.
And it's long, but there's just I love original Z. It's my personal favorite way to watch the story of Dragon Ball. A lot of people like some of like the re-edits, or a lot of people of my generation grew up high. And that's totally fine. That's like it's like super okay, but like I would definitely recommend watching the original dub. That's a tangent. So there was a lot of really interesting characters. Kuwabara is my fucking lad.
Yes.
Voiced by the ever Chris Sabat. He's such a fucking dude. Oh, I love that guy so much. He's such a good person, but he's such like a I don't want to talk about it for too long. But he's awesome. Kurama's awesome. Who's played by, I don't know his name, but the actor who played Tenshin Han. And Hiei's really cool. He's got interesting. I think one of my minor criticisms is I think they took a bit too long to explain where he comes from and like what he's about.
That's fair.
Because
they only really fully get to that in like the last arc.
Yeah, right at the end.
And that's the one that also gets sort of like cut off because of like stuff with like the manga writer being really overworked and just like ending it a lot sooner. When it was like building up to like a lot of other stuff that would have been really cool.
It ends kind of abruptly. But like it's definitely the last arc ends really, really abruptly, and it's sort of anticlimactic. But I mean, I think it's still worth a watch. To get through that last arc, just to kind of like make everything have this sense of finality to it.
I also think the first like part of that arc before it like goes in a different direction is like really good.
It is good. It is good. I enjoyed it. No, but I mean, he's voiced by the Android 17 actor, which I like. Every time I would hear a new character have a voice from Dragon Ball, I would pop. I would be so excited for it because it's like that's my shit. But no, it serves like there's also this Yusuke sort of, he dies, but he comes back as this sort of the spirit detective who's like the sort of police officer agent of the afterlife to deal with demons and shit on Earth, which is a super cool premise. And Yusuke just is a very, very unique, interesting protagonist just by the way he accepts this job and rejects aspects of it, and he's like he's just because of like his specific upbringing, he's a really unique protagonist. And his relationship
I think
with all the
it's
other characters are really interesting.
I think that's another sort of example of like something where you can sort of tell what kind of like person someone is just from like especially like just when you see his like living situation, you see him like come home and you see like his mom and how she's acting and how their house looks and the fact that he doesn't have a dad, and it's like, yeah, okay, I understand what's like going on here.
No, it doesn't take long to figure him out, but also like layers of depth and complexity to him, that there's like ways that he reacts to situations that you wouldn't like immediately expect, and it takes you by surprise in a good way. It's definitely not one of the things where like, oh yeah, understand someone and they act out of character. No, everything's fleshed out, everything makes sense. It's definitely there's definitely more to him than a lot of shonen protagonists, I feel.
Question.
Mhm.
Does this series is this series one of those ones that, because it's like obviously 90s anime, or when did this come out?
It is 90s.
Yeah, it's 90s,
I think it was dubbed closer to like early 2000s.
Yeah, it was dubbed a bit later, but yeah.
Okay, so 90s anime never really got a conclusion. Is this one of those ones that's like got canceled before it could actually like finish?
I said, no. The last arc ends kind of abrupt. Like you say, it ends definitively.
Okay.
But
so it
was rushed a bit.
It has to do with stuff with Yoshihiro Togashi, the manga writer, who also went on to write Hunter x Hunter.
Right?
Yeah. And he was extremely overworked during Yu Yu Hakusho. He still has back problems, which is why Hunter x Hunter always has its like infamous hiatuses, is because he has really chronic back problems just from working on Yu Yu Hakusho. And I think it was for the last arc, he was like building up this whole cool war arc. And they were like, nah, you should do another tournament arc or whatever. And it just kind of was like, I think at that point he was just like done. When it's like it's not, you can't really blame him for it. It is just kind of unfortunate because I would have loved to see how that arc would have turned out. But it still ends well enough, I would say.
It ends conclusively. It's a bit disappointing, but it's definitely not one of those things that you'll feel.
It's not.
Also, next to no filler.
Oh.
There's like none of it. like
what?
No filler.
Oh yeah.
Which is like awesome, because when I watch anime because like I also watched Bleach kind of recently, which I'm sure once I finish that I'll talk about it here. But that has a bunch of filler that I skipped, because that's what I do when I watch Naruto. I skip filler generally, unless it's like something specific. Like I'm glad I didn't do it with Dragon Ball because I was graced with the glory of the driving episode. No, like I feel like it would like generally like it, but if there's so much of it, it's just such a hassle. So there's like no filler in Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, and I think Dark Tournament is like, for example, it's really tightly paced.
Oh my,
like
so good.
Stuff just like happens.
Yeah. I'm going a little bit over time here.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm gonna wrap up. One thing I'll wrap up. The Dark Tournament saga was probably the best tournament arc that I've seen in an anime.
It's definitely my favorite.
Like the only things that like kind of like come close to it to me is that because I have a real soft spot for the 22nd Budokai Tenkaichi, I believe it was.
Which one is that?
That's the one with Ten Shinhan. The first one, not the first tournament with Roshi, even though that one's also awesome. The one with Ten Shinhan, where he breaks Yamcha's leg,
okay.
You know.
I remember that
discovers himself. All of that is my shit. No, but the Dark Tournament with Yusuke and this bad motherfucker Toguro, and this evil bastard Sakio pulling the strings in the background. You don't know what he's planning. All of it is so tightly paced, and there's so much intricacy that like once you find out more about the characters, it makes you want to go rewatch it so that you can understand more about them. Really, really tightly written, awesome show. Watch Yu Yu Hakusho. It fucking rules. That's it. That's all I want to say.
I'm so happy right now. It's
Really?
so satisfying. I'm really glad that you. Yeah, I mean you're like saying all the shit like I would want to say.
Yeah, it's great. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. It's so good.
It's awesome.
That's it for this episode of the Geeks by Gaslight Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Special thanks to our producers, Dre Best, Ronny Diaz, and Scott Heemstra for making the show possible. Thanks to our editor, Guthrie Schooner, and thanks to Jack Warner for helping us design the thumbnail. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment, follow us on Twitter, and join our Discord. The link will be down in the description below. Also, special thanks to Shred. And be sure to keep it locked right here for brand new episodes of the Geeks by Gaslight Podcast every single goddamn month. But until then, take it easy, nerds.